Hello everyone, I am Valluthamannunkal from JMAX Media Solutions, a marketing agency in upstate New York. I'm here with Jennifer Kumar from Authentic Journey. I would say an amazing journey because Jennifer is in India working in our community, helping our people to do business with the best companies in America. Please tell me how you got to this authentic journey concept.
Oh gosh, I think, our stories overlap because you said JMAX was an evolution. Authentic Journeys is also an evolution. So as you know, we met here in Rochester, New York quite a few years ago. When I was living here, I was doing some volunteer work through literacy volunteers. So what literacy volunteers does in Rochester is they train volunteers to teach people how to speak better English or read better English or American culture if they're from other countries. So they gave me the training. I was certified to work with some people. And they ask you as a volunteer, who would you like to work with? So I said I would like to work with people from India, but okay, people in India in Rochester, please go to Literacy Volunteers if you need help, because nobody from India was there, and it's free. So they said, there's no one from India, but we have plenty of people from Japan and China. Is that okay with you? I said, yeah, that's fine, also fine. So they paired me up with some Japanese students, and they were like similar to people from India who come to Rochester in the sense spouses of people who were living here. So as a spouse, usually the spouse doesn't have anything to do because of their visa status. But they might do things like they might take their kids to daycare, they might take their kids to doctor's appointments, but they don't work in a job because of the visa status. So I was working with the Japanese students, and it was fun. I mean, it wasn't just teaching English. They already could speak English, but I was like, okay, if you need to go, open a bank account, let's actually do a role play. I'll kind of pretend to be the banker, you be the customer, then I would take them to the actual bank and just support them to make sure they felt confident to speak English in that circumstance.
So you literally gone with them to the
Yes.
banks. So I have read your book about Rochester. So did you gain any experiences where you literally walk into a lot of places like that, or how do you explore Rochester in that detail? That was also my question.
Yes, I mean, I think I got to learn more about Rochester and my own culture in the U.S. because of doing this work. So, I mean, there was one particular instance where one of the Japanese students wanted to go to Starbucks, a very common thing that you're probably used to doing now after being here in Rochester is going to Starbucks. But how do you order the coffee? They talk so fast. When you're not used to hearing the American accent, and what is a dime, what's a nickel, what's a penny, what's a dollar, a $5 bill, it's hard to tell because they're all the same size.
Correct, yes.
So we did all these role plays, and then she was ready to get the coffee. So we went, and everything went fine till the guy gave her the coffee and says, do you want room for milk? And she didn't know what the idiom meant. She's looking around, and she just said in the Japanese style, yes. She shook her head. So she didn't know what that meant, and then she got the coffee cup, and there was not enough coffee in it. She says, how come there's not enough coffee? And then I explained her the idiom, room for milk, means that they'll leave some space, so they won't put enough coffee in there, you can put more milk. So actually, little things like this I would help my students with, and they liked me so much, they started bringing me gifts from Japan. Oh my God, it would bring tears to my eyes. Without even me asking or them knowing what I liked, they understood me completely. I don't know how. And they would bring me all these awesome gifts from Japan. They would make me Japanese food. They would invite me to their house for dinner. And then I said, I really can't accept these things because I'm a volunteer. So they said, okay, we're going to get out of there, and we want to pay you. And so that's kind of how I started my business.
Right.
And then, of course, I moved to India with my husband, who's from India, and we live near the IT park, as you know. And a lot of companies, like you mentioned in the introduction, work with Americans. So my husband is like, hey, now you're like one of those spouses you helped in the U.S. You need something to do here in India. and you like the cross-cultural,
Right.
so why don't you actually help the Indians here to understand American culture? I didn't know what to do, because there I'm not taking them to learn how to order a coffee in a restaurant, because it's not, they need to do that for me in India sometimes, because I don't understand still after 5 years.
Right.
So I thought, okay, corporate culture training would be perfect, and it evolved from there. And just like every entrepreneur has their story, the first thing the first project you do is usually a total bust. But so long you learn from your mistakes and move forward. So I think, I have those
But again,
stories too.
I would say a helping and giving spirit you
Yes.
enjoyed. Kind of, that is the platform. I think that
Yes.
is the base you are building.
Yes.
And even we can sense that the event we did for the Brockport students and for the MCC students here, like tremendous amount of effort Jennifer has put forth. Even though while she was in India, she got into the details. She was directing myself and Dick Pettit from India, and while she came here, it might take few days to get out of the jet lag. But I was like, you were on action, and that is passion, I would say, right? That is and I experienced it in different areas. So I really appreciate all those things. One thing I am very excited, and I believe that will happen, is that if you look into India right now, especially Kerala or the young generation, they are kind of getting ready to jump into the entrepreneurial
Yes, very
lifestyle.
much.
They wanted to, they don't want to be
Right.
under someone. They
Right.
if they see something, okay, why can't we do by ourselves?
Definitely.
Which is quite natural. But that is a good thing to have, but I think it takes some discipline to establish that. Do you agree with that, Jennifer?
I agree. It's great to have the passion to want to be on your own and do something. But it's also good to have a foundation,
Right.
so that you understand business, for one, because a lot of people jump in without that business background. Not that you need to necessarily go to college, but I actually worked in companies for a number of years before starting my own business. And I think even though I wasn't my own manager, I wasn't the manager of that company, I learned about business. Now, I'm not saying that there are no people out there who can't start a business without that, but I think knowing how, some of the techniques about how to be professional or how to interact in a business environment, it's not college.
Right.
I mean, you may be interacting with your peers when you start your business who are your same age, who are just out of college, but let's say you need to do a business deal with someone who's your dad's age or a little younger, your parents' age or a little bit younger. I mean, that's a generation gap, and they would have been in the workforce for many years. They would be expecting some kind of professional polishing from you,
Right.
to impress them. And that's different based on every culture, exactly how you're going to interact.
Right.
But it's going to, if you just go in, for instance, dressed in jeans and a t-shirt, that might not look so impressive. It might look like you're just, rolled out of bed and you're not that serious about your work. But if you don't necessarily have to come in a suit like we are today, but nice casual, semi-casual clothes, just to make it look like you're taking the effort to have a good appearance.
Right.
That's number one, because we always want to make a good impression.
Absolutely. It's kind of funny that you told about the dressing, because I don't know. Maybe let me talk about myself. I thought like that if I'm dressing up, very neatly, or neatly in the sense like, dressing up, am I kind of showing up a lot? But that could be something. Could be I got it from my culture. I don't know.
Could be.
But what somebody, I don't remember who did that, but whoever did that did a great favor for me. This is what he said. See, when I am coming to you dressed up, that means you are important to me.
That's a good point.
So I am respecting you. So when I'm coming in
Yes.
in front of you, I'm well dressed, I'm looking good, I'm neat, I'm clean. That means I care about you. So
Yes.
it is not about me, it is about you. Maybe
Good point.
and that kind of changed my approach to all this kind of things.
Definitely.
And I want to thank my wife for that, because she always tells me that the dressing up and everything is so important. But the other, I don't know who it is. I wish I could have remembered. Normally I take notes of all this kind of things.
Right.
So maybe one from one of those books.
Actually, the funny thing, Joe, that you mentioned that I have a colleague who's written this book, How to Score a Date with Your Potential Employer. So she has akin finding a job or, building your network to dating, you could
Right.
say. It's kind of a provocative subject.
Right.
But again, if you are going to be impressing someone, if you're going on a date with them, you will be dressing up, right? Because you want to look good for that other person. You respect that person or like that person so much you would dress up.
Right.
Of course, appropriately, hopefully, still in that environment. So definitely, I think when we're looking at the corporate world or our professional careers, we are trying to impress. You have to impress somehow to get that connection or make that relationship with someone.
Right.
So it's just like the real world, but a little different. It's a little different.
Right.
A different level of the real world, you could say.
Correct. So, Jennifer, I know that you do a lot of corporate trainings, and I also know that I get a lot of requests from, hey, can you find us some work? Like, even I'm talking to a video editor right now, and he's asking me, sir, can you get some wedding work? Can you see our wedding work? It's just amazing. So if you go and shoot it and send it to us, boom, we can make millions. You know that how American wedding work, the videos and stuff, everything works on a budget. Everything works on a plan. It is not they don't spend money on a spree.
Right.
And I coming from India, like most of the people, are you familiar with I think it's on Kerali TV channel, and then it got so popular in YouTube, Cultural.
Yeah, I know.
So
it's about Keralites who live in the U.S. or culture shock.
Exactly.
But I have a little difficulty understanding everything because it's in Malayalam.
But again, the reason we are enjoying it is like 99 part of that it is reflecting on us. It is true.
Yes.
Most of the concepts are true. When you come from India, you have a feeling that you're going to change everything in 1 minute. And I was like that. You know what? I can do this better than that. You know what I eventually found out? Sorry, America, I have to learn a lot of things from you. Everything is a process, and I have to believe in the process. I cannot jump. I can jump, but I will be just jumping. Nothing will happen.
Right,
We have to have that discipline. And I think I'm very grateful to be in this country. I think I mentioned you about this.
Yes.
I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful for the resources. Even right now, having privilege talking to Jennifer is a privilege. I think we are becoming more global right now. I wanted to talk about Jennifer's contribution in India right now. I would love to see any possibilities our youngsters can tap into and use her wonderful resources to build your business if you would like to do business with America, or even I would say this too, Jennifer. I have I'm consulting few businesses in India right now. I told you, right?
Yes.
How did I do that? I was talking to a few friends, and I was simply conveying my ideas from here, and they kind of said they want to do, very seriously.
Of course.
And whatever I learned from here, I kind of applied there.
Right.
And what it shows is that India or Kerala is becoming very receptive to that standards. I'm not saying it is American standards per se. I'm talking about the good practices. And why would we come to America, or why would we look after America as a big nation? There is a reason. They paid the price. They built it the way it is. It didn't evolve one day, right, Jennifer? It kind of evolved. All the citizens, all the people who built this country, they paid a price. That's why where this country is right now. And we are all impressed with it, and we want to do business with it. And Jennifer is helping the corporates. Jennifer, only the corporates can get your services, or some people who wanted to get world class.
I mean, I would say 80% of the people I work with are brought to me through the companies or through their HR departments. 20%, or maybe less than that, maybe 10 to 20%, depending on the time of year, are what I call private clients.
Right.
They are paying out of their own pocket. So they might have come to my website, they might have called me, and then we, first we just meet for free for a little while, maybe 30 minutes, and we kind of discuss why they came to my website, what they want to learn, and how I can help them. So then after that, they would sign up for a certain kind of class, and I design it for that person usually.
Right.
So, but yes, definitely individuals can come, but usually it's more through the companies just because of the financial part.
Jennifer, I can see myself, you as a mentor, because right now I have about 80% of my clients are Indians working, doing business in US.
Right, of course.
And I would say that I have a partial Indian mentality of understanding things.
Of course.
And I want myself to be world class in the performance, and I'm competing to local American companies who are doing the marketing, which is far, far better than me in many aspects. So I'm competing with them. So going back to Kerala, say a group of talents. Now you can see everywhere a lot of companies are forming, right? So say a group of people are building their IT business, and they obviously wanted to do business with different countries, of course, definitely with America or abroad, anywhere. So do you give them, will you be able to give them the guidance or create a curriculum for them to train them so that they can be world class in approach, the way they deal, the way they email, the way they make the phone calls? Now the phone calls is becoming more cheaper, right?
Of course.
So will you be able to do that?
We do that already, actually, in different formats depending on the need of the person or the group. However, the gap that is there that almost everyone would ask about is the immigration part. Now, I'm not an immigration lawyer, so if they want to come on their own accord to start a company in the U.S. or actually set up an affiliate office here in the U.S., the immigration part that is really important. You would need, certain type of visas and certain types of permits maybe to come to the U.S. and start the business. That they would have to go to an immigration lawyer, and really, really it just depends on that person or that entity's resources. But let's say they found a way to come to the U.S. On a B1 visa or something like that, or maybe they have a company that's doing well and they have an H-1B visa that costs more money, I'm guessing. So we do the kind of trainings where, okay, you're going to the U.S., you're going to give a sales presentation. Now, I'm not going to create their presentation for them. That they have to do. But normally what most people prefer to do, rather than sit in a training on how to create a presentation, because most of the people I'm training are, say, middle management and up to like 60 years old, something like that, who are doing these things. They would meet me one-on-one or in a small group. They would deliver that presentation how it is today. And then I would consult with them. Okay, where do you think you went right? Where do you think you went wrong? What usually happens when you give this to an audience if they have done that before? And then I give my feedback to them. So, anything from body language to voice projection, because you can't talk too low or people can't hear you. And you can't talk too fast like this if you're nervous, because nobody will be able to understand you because of the accent, So you have to learn a lot of different things to actually be able to give a good presentation. So the body language in that part is we discuss, and we also discuss how to actually form the presentation, the format of the presentation. How do you format your words and your ideas in the right in the right order or in the right process? Like you said, Americans like process, so it has to be in a particular way so that Americans understand it, because obviously the Indian way of understanding things and the American way, as you know, are different. That's probably what you're facing in the marketing too, is just the process of how Americans think is different. So Americans like things in a very linear way, A, B, C, D, just like the process, right? So if it goes out of order, like in India, people are very comfortable with a very open way of thinking of things and very flexible. It's okay if you say A, then D, then come back to A, then go to Z, then come. Americans will get overwhelmed and confused, and they will just shut down, and you'll lose them completely. So I really have to go through with people and how to keep that order, because it's, I mean, for instance, if I give it one quick example in just meeting management, people will know you start a meeting with a little small talk, you have 3 elements to your meeting agenda, and then you end by summarizing and then making small talk. But typically when I'm observing teams actually doing their team meetings on Skype or whatever with American clients, what happens, they get to the summary, they do small talk, and then they realize they forgot something in the summary, so they come back. Or they actually come back to the meeting agenda.
Okay.
But for the Indian team, that's completely natural. It's okay to go back and forth. People are okay with that in India.
Is that a little bit, you can call that as a little bit disorganized? Really?
Americans would say so. So here, actually, it's funny that you mentioned that, Joe, because in one particular client I was consulting with, the meeting was going like that, and then the client said on the other end, why is this meeting all over the place? And then the team in India didn't understand the idiom. Obviously, Americans can do better in their virtual teams as well. Don't use as many idioms, because that's not plain English for people in India. Or maybe they get a different idea. The same idiom means something different in a different culture also. So they asked me after the meeting, what was that all over the place? What does that mean? And I said, I'm sorry to say, but that's not really a compliment. We have to help you to actually put things in order, because all over the place means it's disorganized. We don't understand what's going on.
Right.
They did not have a good impression at the end of that meeting. So I helped them turn it around. And
Right. So if people who are trying to build something, they can use. I know that there's a lot of blog posts out there. You have to visit her website, Jennifer. It is authenticjourneys.info, right?
yes.
And she's very active in Facebook. There's a lot of resources. She puts a lot of nugget videos out there. You have to check this out. It's a lot of information there. And if you have any doubts, I think you can reach out.
Definitely.
Reach out to her. She's always always available, I would say. And it's kind of very hard. Jennifer, I have to appreciate that. Like, I don't think any of your comments, whoever leaves a comments, you always respond that.
Yeah.
I kind of learned and I applied that to my client's profile. It is possible.
Yes.
But sometimes people say that, hey, once you are big, you don't have to worry about it. About social media, that is one thing I focus and I insist my customers or prospects when they say that, oh, we want to take this social media thing to big. And I would ask them, what is social media? It is just like you and me talking.
Yes, you have to keep going.
Yeah, exactly. You cannot simply count the likes or just a count. It is somebody giving you appreciation. So you have to have that great gratitude, right?
Definitely.
So when I look into Jennifer's Facebook or any kind of activities she acknowledges things. So I'm saying is, you can reach out to her, and any kind of questions you have about you or your organization, she will be always happy to help you out. What I'm seeing is that maybe because of my lack of experience and world experience, maybe I haven't seen any resources like Jennifer, especially in Kerala, who is born and brought up in America.
Yeah, there's nobody else that I know either that's doing
Yes.
this work in Kerala. Like
So and she is living in Kerala. And other day when Jennifer and Krishna, her husband, we were having a dinner at Tandoor of India, and we were talking to Raj and all. We were having a good time. I kind of amazed by the way Jennifer and Krishna talked about Kerala. They say that we are seeing a lot of social media videos, like things are going south and all those things. So, but they were very comfortable, and they were saying that they were seeing a lot of good things about Kerala. My point is, it is very hard to find that combination to be in Kerala. So while they are available, I would say if you want to build your business into a world-class level, and I think I'm from Kerala, and I still carry all the values. One thing we have to focus on is that we have to move out of our comfort zone, and we have to be before we have. That is one thing I learned from this country, is that like a lot of books are available, and even now I cannot say that books are available in Kerala too. Everywhere online everything is available. If you want to build a business world class and want to do business with America, check out with Jennifer and see am I doing it right? Maybe an email might fix it, or if you have a team, you can sign up with her. Skype is a great way to connect, and if your budget allows, see if you can put a curriculum, and she travel all over, and she does a lot of great jobs. I'm telling you, like, she's born and brought up in US, supporting, and you're only focusing India and America right now, right?
Right now. I mean, there are some people who work with other teams in other continents. Can I give you an example of a story about this?
Please.
So I had a private client that I was working with for 5 years. Now, he actually does work for a company, not his own company, but a reputed Western company based in India. And he's from Kerala. So initially when we first started working together 5 years ago, he was working with American clients on virtual teams. Now through the training, he was able to move up to a position where he could then go to the US. So he started going to the US, say, once every quarter. And his company liked his work so much that they said, now we're going to send you to Ireland. And he was so nervous. You can only imagine. Even I would be, because I can't understand Irish accent.
Okay.
And even people in India are so shocked when they hear me as a native speaker can't understand other accents that are English, actually. And English is so confusing for me. So I said, okay, well, we're not going to work on the accent part, because I'm not that familiar with Irish accent either. Even I would have a hard time. But let me run you through what I think might happen if you show up in this company in Ireland. What might happen on the first day? Now, I said most of the Western companies and big companies are going to be pretty similar from the US, Canada, and UK, and Australia. So probably the first day you come in, let's do the role play. So like that, he's on the phone with me, and I say, okay, I'm inviting you into the company. Let's say his name is Ram. Hi, Ram. So welcome to our company. Welcome. I know that you came from India today. How was your flight? And I just made small talk with him. So he learned how to make small talk. He already knew that part. But then I said, okay, the next part is I'm going to show you around the office. So I pretended. Like I said, we're doing this over the phone, not even Skype. So this is where you're going to sit in your desk for the next few weeks while you're visiting us. This is our director's office. This is the break room. This is the lunchroom. And I kind of took him through a virtual tour of an office. And, he went to Ireland, and he called me 1 week after he landed in Ireland. And I said, how did it go? And he's like, it's the most amazing experience. I was so nervous to come to Ireland, especially after you told me you couldn't understand Irish accent, but that role play we did together was right spot on. He said, but before I tell you what happened with that, the day I landed in Ireland was a Sunday.
Okay.
And I took your advice to go out to restaurants and try their food. Okay. And Irish food and Kerala food, oh my gosh, it's like night and day, I'm sure. So he took the effort, he was brave. Okay. I mean, even I would say anyone would be brave to do that, right? You go to a foreign country, you've never been there before,
right.
You're all alone,
right.
Number one.
Right.
He didn't even have any other Indians or Keralites with him, but he said, okay, Jennifer's training gave me the confidence. I went out onto the streets. I just asked people, what kind of restaurants are good around here?
Right,
what food should I try? He did this all by himself. Can you imagine?
Awesome.
And I was just like, oh my God, you are so inspirational even to me, And he said, this gave me the confidence to go into the office the next day, because I realized, hey, at least in this part of Ireland where I am, the accent, I can understand it.
Right.
You know, I could understand everything they were talking to me about, and I have an appreciation a little bit for the food because I went to the U.S. before, so you know the bland food or whatever, the food without curry leaves and mustard seeds. He was happy with it a little bit. He could appreciate it.
Correct.
And then he said, the first day at the office, do you remember that role play you did with me on the phone? I said, yes. He's like, oh my God, that same exact thing happened
wow.
the first minute I came into the office. And the funny thing is, my manager, you won't even believe this, the manager who was his manager, guess what her name was?
Jennifer.
Yes. So he's just like, I felt I was like talking to you, and I felt so comfortable with her, and her personality was like yours, but she had an Irish accent, but...
Irish Jennifer.
Yes. So that's my story.
That's awesome.
Share.
I think what it is behind this story, what I'm picking up is that, like, you walked him through that.
Yes.
And it became a kind of second nature for him
yes.
to face it.
Yes.
And believe me, most of the time, I faced this fear in this country. And to be honest with you, Jennifer, every day is a new. I don't want to call that as a fear. I want to call at this time as an excitement.
Yeah.
Even walking into this building, I don't know what is happening. In Kerala or wherever I born, I know what to expect.
Right.
You know, but here, new people. Again, the culture is not inbuilt in me. I'm struggling with sometimes coping with my kids because they are born and bringing up here, right? So I'm kind of trying to, you know, we totally left out on the conversations.
I can imagine.
But the biggest thing is that sometimes you need that extra inspiration, and that has to be done in a better way too. So that is what exactly happened with the name we just took, Ram. Ram just gone through that experience, and he kind of exploded in real time there.
It was amazing.
And one thing, Jennifer, I think I mentioned to you about, I'm listening to a book called The Power of Habits, and I don't remember the name of the person. This guy, he's been trained by a trainer every day that he's going to be, like, he's performing every day as he's in the Olympics, that swimming pool.
Wow.
You know, so there is, for him, the training is kind of, it's not a training, it is the real. So what happened when he was really competing, his goggles has got water into it, so he lost the vision.
Oh no.
So, but he finished it in record time, and when his coach asked him, it worked, right? This was the conversation, and he said, we did this 100 times in our practice, so when it come to the real time, it was only one more time I was able to do it. The reason I'm relating to this is, like, many times why we are not doing, or we are not kind of getting ourselves back, because we are not in not connection with the right people or the right resource to connect you to the right customer relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in this case, I'm not talking to a general audience. We are talking to an audience who wanted to do business with American customers. So use the resources. And I'm so privileged to sit with Jennifer today. And this session is Jennifer's idea. She pushed me out of my comfort zone. This is the first thing I'm doing as a recorded show. Jennifer, thank you for pushing me. And my every vein told me, can I say an excuse that I got to be somewhere?
I wouldn't let him out of it, by the way.
but hey, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm proud on that, and I have to make that move. I have to make that small challenges. I have to get breakthrough for that.
Yes,
Right,
I agree.
Jennifer?
Yes, definitely.
So this two events. I was kind of very nervous, Jennifer, when you said that we will do this. I didn't know how it's going to end up. Even at some point, I doubted, because we are having some issues with the rooms and all. I thought, I was kind of sad that you put that much effort. I would be sad if it is not going to happen. I would be really sad. But you know, like landed like a bomb, and you just it made happen. And why it happened? We moved out of our comfort zone and we did it. Take action.
Yes.
That is all about it.
Yes. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm so glad that you could take your time and your resources to do this video. So I hope you out there also watching and found something interesting here. Please leave some comments under the video and share it too.
And Jennifer will be available. And if anything, like if you would like to ask me also, like you can
Yes,
comment on
definitely.
the video. You know, we can. I don't have that much experience, but you know, if anything, we can help. We can do it for you. So, shall we sign off, Jennifer?
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.